This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, 1 second. Is it still low? Or okay, what about others? Everyone can able to hear me? Or is it low?
It's quite fine for us. Bro. It's okay for me.
Yes, yes.
I think you're connected from phone, am I right?
Yes, that's right.
Okay, is it like I can see two connections. One is from you, another one caller 01. I don't see the name. Is it have you connected from two phones, or is it one from system, another one from phone?
Yeah, I
Who
mean,
is
I'm looking at the screen right now on the
all right?
laptop.
Yeah.
I'm connected from my phone for voice.
Another guy supposed to join, so I thought it is him. Okay. Okay. Is it still low?
Yeah, this is fine now.
All right. Yesterday we discussed about indexing, right? Python indices starts from 0 to n minus 1. Let's take another example. Let's take the same example, the one that we have taken yesterday, machine learning, right? Maybe more space is as I said before, like Python indices starts with 0, right? 0, 1, 2, 3, sorry, 3, 4. I think it's better to use Excel. Machine learning, right? A. Let's start from here. Yeah. Let's take just machine. Index starts with 0, right? 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, right? It's not just the positive index, even we have negative indexing. It starts with -1 from here. -1, -2, -3, -4, -5, -6, and -7. Just like the way we have used like, for example, x equal to machine x of let's take 2 is going to be c, right? The same way we have negative indexing to indicate, to get c, what we have to do is what we hear -5. Just mention x -5. We're going to get the same result. So it's not just the index, positive indexes, we have negative indexing too, but it starts from the end with -1 and it ends here. What is the length of this? len x is what? 7. So it's going to be like -1 to -n, whereas positive indexing starts with 0 till n minus 1. Any questions on this?
No, nothing. No question for me.
Dattatreya, I think you already know this. This one we have mystery test reading. Another thing is, like, if you want to print it in the reverse order, we have X MACHINE, right? If you want to print it like ENIHCAM, that is in reverse order, what you have to do is X and colon -1. I haven't discussed about this colon, right? So X, you have to mention the start index and the end index. But the problem with this method is index is this is upper bound and this is inner bound. The upper bound is exclusive. Let me show you with an example. Let's take X, and you want to start with like you want to print only MACH. You have to start with 0, X of like start index is 0, and then MACH, right? So you need to end up with here. So you need to mention 3. But the problem is 3, the upper bound is exclusive. So you have to add 1. That is 4. Only then you will get MACH. Otherwise, if you mention simply like 3, where it's going to end, you will get only this part up to here, not completely, right? And now another thing is, like, if the inner bound, that is the starting index, if you start from the start, like from 0, you need not to mention 0 here. You can simply omit it. You can see you got the same result, right? Both are one and the same. Another thing is, like, if you want to, let's take, you want to get only NE part, okay? Karthik, how can we get this only NE part with this slicing? X, start index and end index plus 1, right? So how do we get that? Only NE part, or maybe INE. What is index of this?
You can use 6. End index is 6, and the start index is
okay.
6,
End index is 6. Okay.
And the start index is 4.
Start index is 4. Okay. See, I haven't got the complete result. I have just got IN. As I told before, like outer bound is exclusive. So you need to add 1. That will become 7. Okay. Another thing is, if you want to mention the upper bound, or this one 7. Now you want to get till the end. You need not to mention the upper bound. You can simply omit it. You got the same result, right?
Yes.
Okay. If you want to start from scratch, that is starting index from 0, you can omit that part. If you want to get till the end, the upper bound, no, you can completely omit it. Let's take, you want to print the complete word, MACHINE. You can simply write, you can write either like this, or else we are starting from scratch, right, from 0. So you can omit that part, and we are going till the end, so you can omit that part too. Now you can see you got machine. I haven't mentioned the start index, or I haven't mentioned the end index also, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Any questions on this? Or let's take another example, maybe. Right. Maybe I need to minimize this. This is much better. Learn LEARN. Now tell me, how can I get only this part, LEARN? Let me mention this. X equal to machine learn. Now I need only learn. what can I mention here? Tell me the start and end index.
8 colon. That's it.
8 colon. Okay.
That's it.
10 colon.
Right. We got 8 colon because this is 6, this is 7, and starting index is inclusive. So it starts with 8, and we're going till the end. So we know to mention the upper bound, right?
Yes.
And what if I need only the mission part?
0 colon 7.
0 colon 7. Okay. So space is also one character. So you need to consider that. So if at all you mention 8, so it's going to include the space one, space also, right? Fine. The next
Can
one.
we do like colon -6?
Colon?
-6?
-6. Yeah. Native index is a bit difficult to perceive it. Like we need to start from here: -1, -2, -3, -4, -5, -6. So -6 outer bound is exclusive, so you get the same result, right? Let me show this. Like 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and this one is, it's going to start from -1, -2, -3, -4, -5, and this one is what? -6, -7, -8, -9, -10, -11, -12, and -13. What he said was like we can start from scratch, and he's going to stop here. The outer bound is exclusive, so it's going to print only this part. Karthik and Dattatreya, we got the point?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, this is going to start from 0, that is this one, but it's going to end up to here. And the outer bound is exclusive, so it's going to stop here. That is why we got mission. Only this 4. We can do that one too. Another thing, if at all you want to get till the end, we can omit it. We can omit the upper bound. There is another way. You can use len. You got the same result, right? So len or dynamically calculates the length of the string. So what is len of x? It is 13. So you not to mention 13 here. You can simply mention learn. The advantage of using len is, let's take, I have added another part, right? So I need not to, I mean, if at all it is like this, so it's going to get only the mission learn, right? If you need the complete sentence, I mean complete word or phrase, we can simply write like this. It's going to dynamically calculate every time we change it, and we're going to get the result. Okay. Any questions on this? Using len or inner bound or upper bound? Any confusion?
No, nothing is.
Yeah. Let me do this. Okay. Let's move on to special characters in a string. Yesterday I told you that a string can be wrapped in double quotes or single quotes, right? Let's take machine learning, and in order to check the type, what we have to do is type, right? This is string.
Yes.
And we can use the single quotes also, right? It's going to be the same. I told you that there is an exception, in this method. Thing is, like, if at all you want to mention machines learning, right? If it is single quotes, see what happens. It has been ended here. Let's see what is going to happen. Like, we got an error right in the declaration, right in the assignment itself. So if we use double quotes, no, this is, let me print X. We got the right result, right? This is one exception that, using double quotes and single quotes. Otherwise, we can use either double quotes or single. It's going to be one and the same. Another question is, how can we skip the, this sort of characters? Let's take single quotes itself. It's not always possible to wrap, in double quotes when we have single quotes inside that phrase. So in that case, what we can do is we can use backslash. Here you can see we got the right result, right? Let's take, you want to print slash here. Let's like LEAR, or else take another variable. You want to print /A/B. What we got? You haven't got the expected result. So in order to escape this, you can use double slash, but you have to use print. Why? Print is a functional method that helps in interpreting in the right way. Most of the time, we can bluntly mention the variable and get the result and print the value, but it's not always you may not get the expected result all the time. So it's better to use print all the time, at least when you deliver the code to client. Okay, any questions?
No, nothing.
And let's take the same example X, and if you want to split into two, like I need a list, something like mission and learning as two elements in the list. So in that case, what we can do is we can use split method. See, we got the result, right? So the mission is one of the elements in this list, and learning became another element. The problem with this, let's take comma, right? In this case, it's going to work. It hasn't. It's because by default, space is the separator, right? So it's not, as long as you have space here, it's going to work. See, you can see the same result. Even without, I haven't mentioned anything, it's going to consider space as a separator. But if you change it to comma or something, it's not going to work. So in that case, you have to explicitly mention the separator. Here I have mentioned comma, right? So you can see now the mission and the learn and the word learning became two different elements in the list, right? Any questions?
No, nothing.
No.
Sometimes what happens here is like the words are going to be separated with comma and space. Now you can see there is a space being added here, so you need to be careful with that. Okay, I have added comma and space. Let's take maybe this is not the right example. 1 2 3 4 4 5. Now you can see you got the right result. If you simply mention like comma, it has added space to every word except the first one. So you need to be a bit careful with the separator. Whatever we have
Can we use
these two.
any trim function to remove it?
Trim function, yes, we can. So what you mean to say is, okay, trim is not okay. You mean to say like comma and then strip, right? Strip should work. Object has no add. Okay. Maybe like this, and then you need to write a for loop. Maybe then you can use list comprehension, but we haven't got to that point yet. My list, append my list. Yeah, we can do that, but it's better to use comma space, right? Inside, okay, your point is valid when we don't have space in certain case and we have space in another cases, right?
Right, exactly.
Yeah, now you can, then in that case you can use this, and list comprehension is much better way. I will speak about that later. You can write in one in just one line.
So what does the append function does? The append function just trims. Append just appends it to the my list array.
Yeah, to the list.
To the my list. Okay. So where are you trimming it? I mean, where? Oh, you're using a.
No, I haven't used. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I forgot that. Thank you. And strip. Yeah, here we can use strip. Now we got the right result now.
Got it.
And Karthik and Dattatreya, have you got the point?
Yes,
his question is,
Yeah.
his question is, what if we have comma and space all the time? It's fine. This method will work. But what if we have comma space in certain cases and just comma in other cases, right? So in that case, we need to write some, some logic like this.
Can we not use like a function within a function? Like, can we not use like split within a strip function?
Yes,
is that possible?
Yes, we can. But thing is, this has not accepted. Like, no, if we use strip like this is going to throw a list, right? So when we when this part throw a list, then strip is going to be applied for the whole list, not to every element of it. So in that case, we need to loop it.
Okay. I mean, usually, like for example, if I take like Excel, right? For example, so you can have a function within a function, meaning like you'll write like strip, and then within strip you will have split. Within those brackets, you can have like split, right? So it'll be like X dot strip with bracket open, and then split, and then you write the split statement, and then you close strip.
Yeah, and in that case, we have to use lambda functions. I'll speak about that. I will take the same example and discuss about that later.
Okay, got it. Okay. So I have a very basic question. I don't know if you addressed this before.
Yeah, go ahead.
Whether Python is like more object oriented or whether it's functional, or is it both? Like, and if it is both, like how do we determine like which functions are like which ones are the functions versus which ones are objects?
Which one of functions, which one objects? That initially Python was not an object-oriented language, and later on it's been added.
Okay.
So we don't use much of oops concepts in this. And your question is like whether it is going to be no, in procedure it's going to be a bit different from the oops, right? I mean, in oops it's going to be more like objects and all. So the only
my question is like my question is basically split and the strip, are they like methods or are those like functions?
These
like,
are
how
methods.
do we know? Like,
yeah, this is method.
Right.
So whenever we use something like object dot and some function or some method, right?
Correct. Yeah.
Like function. This is going to be a method. You have to call this as method. It's not just Python, in any language you take. So if it is object dot something, it's going to be method. If we simply mention like something function, this is going to be function.
Okay.
Right?
In what cases do we, can we, like for example, I have a list, right?
Okay.
So, how do I know that whatever operations I'm going to make on that list, whether I should use an object to make like any modifications, or whether I should use function to make that modification? How would
It's
I,
all about,
how do I make the decision?
so it is by practice you will get it. Let's take my list, and if you want to know what all the objects that it has, you need to use dot and then tab. You got the complete list of methods.
Okay, got it. Okay.
Thing is, like, if you keep on practicing, it's not going to be difficult, whether it is going to be a function or method or the question is, if it is a function, you have to write something like this, my list, right? If it is a method, you have to write like this. There's always going to be some confusion. Even those who has like 3 to 4 years of experience, you will get this question, but when you keep on practicing, you'll get it. And that too, a language like Python, initially it was not OOPS based, and later on OOPS been added. So definitely there is going to be some confusion.
Okay.
Yeah. And Karthik and Dattatreya, any questions?
No.
No.
Yeah, and I haven't discussed about strip completely, right? Let's take an example. Same machine learning. I have some trial spaces right at the start and at the end. If you print X now, print X now, so it's going to come up with the trial spaces, right? At the start and at the end. If you want to trim out these spaces, what you have to do is X dot strip. You can see that the trial space being completely deleted. Not in between. For example, when we have space like this, strip is not going to be helpful. Okay, it's only at the start and at the end. Let's take another example. After stripping, you can still see some space, right? So it's not going to trim out in between the words. It's going to look at only the start and the end part. Okay. And the next one is concatenation. Let's take X mission and Y. Yesterday we discussed about this, right? I think Dattatreya asked this question, how to concatenate the words.
Yes, sir.
X is this and Y is this. So in order to concatenate, we have to use concatenate operator, which is nothing but plus. So it has not added any space. In space is a character, so you can write explicitly. Now you can see a better way to see that concatenate output, right? So plus is a concatenate operator in Python. So we can add strings also. So in other languages, you may get an error that is not the right operator or right operation to do it on strings. But in Python, it's going to concatenate. Concatenate is nothing but adding. Another thing I discussed yesterday is strings are immutable, right? Let me discuss about mutability before we get into immutable. We have list here, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? So let's take if you want to get only the set 3, that is the third element. What we have to do? What is the index we have to use?
2.
2, right? So let's take, I want to, if I assign another word, let's take some junk. Let's see the result. So the word 3 been replaced with junk. So the ability to replace a value is nothing but mutability. In simple words, right? Nothing but the ability to change or replace the value. Sorry. Yeah. And let's take another example in the same machine learning. So in order to get, let's take INE, what we have to do? X. Let's take only the M, the first letter, M. So we can write it like X of 0, right? If we
Yes.
want to replace it, let's take J, okay, some junk. What we got? STR object does not support item assignment. So you can't replace a particular letter using this this method. Like you can fetch the value, but you can't replace it. This is what we call immutability. Strings are immutable, right? Especially Karthik. Any questions on this?
Yeah, got it. No,
Yeah,
nothing.
I think Arvind knows this, like what is mutable and what is immutability. Strings are by nature immutable, so you can't refer a particular index and fetch the value and replace it. Whereas lists are mutable. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. Any questions? Like we have completed special characters in a string and split strip method, string concatenation, and strings are strings immutability. If you don't have any questions, we can jump to lists. I hope you don't have any questions. Let's start the list. So you know how to declare a list, right? So it has to be wrapped in square brackets. What about dictionary? Yesterday we discussed about how to declare a list, dictionary, sets, and tuples. Hope you remember it. Karthik,
Yes.
Dattatreya, yeah.
Yeah,
How to declare a dictionary?
it's in
Floor
the
brackets
key
with
value
clear
combination.
values.
Key value paste, right?
Yep.
Let's take an example. 0, 1 is going to be something like this, right? And what
Yes.
about
Yes.
a tuple?
Tuple is
Tuple with the
square.
rounded brackets.
Yeah, round brackets or parentheses. What about sets?
It's again with floor brackets, but with only with values
Yeah, just like the way
without.
we write elements in list, it's going to be like that.
Yeah.
What is it going to print? If I print
Uh,
my
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
yeah, because sets are not going to entertain duplicates. It's going to remove this one. Let's take and let me explain your shortcut. Let's take, we have list 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6, 7, 7, right? So in order to remove a list, is going to entertain, duplicates. It has not removed duplicates, right? In that case, what we can do is to remove duplicates, if at all you want to. You can mention like the set, and then you can convert back to list. Let's see what happens. What we got? It has removed duplicates. What I did here is, my list is a list. It has some duplicates, 6, 6, and 7, 7. So 6 and 7 has duplicates. I wrap it in set. So it's going to convert my list to a set. Let me show you that. My list. So it has converted to a set. You can see that it is being wrapped it in floor bracket, and you can observe the duplicates 6 and 7 has been removed. And if you want to convert back, what you need is removing duplicates in a list, right? So you need to convert this back to list. Got it? What am I doing here? This is going to be a very handy method to remove duplicates in a list, right?
That is a lambda function, correct, sir?
Sorry?
what you just did? List and set, this is the lambda function you were talking about?
No, this is not a lambda function. Lambda function is a kind of user-defined function where we not to have a function name. We can, I mean, if at all we need to write only in one line, we can use lambda functions. This is not a lambda function. This just, I'm wrapping it in, I mean, I'm converting it to set, and I'm converting back, it to list using list method or list function. This is not lambda function.
Okay.
I think the previous question was like, how can I use a function within another function, right?
Correct, exactly, yeah.
We can use it like this, but it's not going to work in all the cases. So, if you want to define an user-defined one, I mean user-defined function, it's better to use a lambda function.
Okay.
Yeah. And the next one is, okay, length of list.
So
For
one
length,
question.
yeah,
So,
go ahead.
so for in case of list and set, we have these predefined functions like this. So do we have the like similar kind of things for dictionary and this tuple also?
Yes, we do have, but there are some issues with that. Tuple. So tuple it works, but dictionary we haven't provided any key value pair, right? So it may not work. So but tuple works.
Yeah.
Basically, what we have to remember is it has to be compatible. Yesterday we discussed about x23, and if we convert this to integer, it works. But what if we mention something like this? Going to work?
Yes.
So it has to be compatible. And there are ways to come over it using zip method. We'll discuss that later.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, and we need to provide it in the form of in the form of like a list of tuples, and then we can convert it into dictionary. Yeah, any questions? And right now I have how many elements? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So in order to get the length of it, you can use len, right? Just like the way we have used it for this one, for strings also. The same method, like same function is going to work for lists also. Even it's going to work for tuples. Do we have any tuple? I don't think we have any tuple. So let's take a tuple. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then my tuple. It's going to work for tuple also. Even dictionary. Do we have any dictionary? Don't think we have dictionary. Let's create 0, 1. Check the dictionary, length of dictionary. Okay, we have two elements, two set of elements, two set of key value pairs, and fetch values from a list. And you know how to refer, I mean how to fetch a particular value, right? From a list, you have to use indexing. Let's take if you want to get only the number 3, what you have to do is 2. If you want to fetch from 3 to 5, what we have to do? So I already explained this. Can someone tell me like how to get that from 3 to 5?
It's my list 2 colon
2 colon
2, 3, 4, 5.
Right, because outer bound is exclusive, so you have to add 1. Right, perfect. This is what we call, and this is we call this as slicing. So when I call it, when I say list slicing or something, like it's going to be like this. And what if you want to get it in reverse order? I have list like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So how do I get it in reverse order? Colon will fetch the values in an order that we have provided. We have to add another colon and -1.
-1. Yeah.
is going to print in reverse order. So there are better ways to do that, but for now, this is also one of the ways to print it in reverse order. Okay. And negative indexing, okay, lists are mutable. I have already explained this. And negative indexing, just like the way for strings, list also entertains negative indexing. What we have here is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So index is going to start with 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's not just positive indexes. We have negative indexing also. Negative indexing starts with what? -1, right?
Minus.
Right.
Yes.
-1, -2, something like this, -3, so and so on. So it's going to end up like -6, sorry, -7, right? Let's see an example. So how can I print 4 using native indexing? Anyone? So I
4.
need to print 4, but basically in order to print 4, so as per positive indexing concept, you need to
Column.
use now for negative
-4.
indexing -4. Yeah, perfect. This is -1, -2, -3, and -4, right? The next one is list out of range. I already explained this, like using len. So in some cases, let's take if we explicitly mention it like this, 7, right? We got all the values. If I add something, append is a method that helps in adding value. Let's take 8, and what we have here, we have 8 being added to the list. Now if I execute the same thing, I'm going to get only 1 to 7. I'm not going to get the complete list. So in order to avoid this flaw, you can either completely omit it if at all you're fetching till the end, or else you can use len. Some cases what we do is like we mention something like this. If we have 1 to 8, right, I want to get only till 7. So in that case, what we usually do is -2, or else 1, 2, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We can explicitly mention like this. But the problem with this method is, let's take, I have added another one. What am I trying here? So okay, let's take insert. I have added something like 0, 1, 1. Yeah, here I have added 11. If I execute the same thing like here, what we got, 7 being omitted. So there is a possibility that you may get unexpected results. So it's always better to use len instead of explicitly mention like this. Okay. Any questions?
No.
And list out of range, so list out of range slicing we did, and reverse order. And reverse order, what we did here is like in order to print it in reverse order, we can use ::, -1, right? There's a better way to
Yes.
do that. It's reverse. And it's been reversed complete, like it's a persisted value. It has changed the list completely. So if you print my list, it's no more going to be like the previous one, right? It's been completely reversed. So you need to be a bit careful, like when we use reverse method. So it's going to give a persisted result. It's going to affect the actual list. Okay. Let's take another example. Let's take 0, 5, 1, 3, 2, 2, and 6. This is in unsorted, right? If you want to sort it, you can use sort method. What we got? 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. By default, sort is reverse equal to false. Okay, it's going to print in ascending order. When I say reverse equal to false, it is nothing but ascending order. If you want to sort it in descending order, what you have to do is true. If it is ascending, you not to mention reverse equal to false. You can completely omit it. But if you want it in reverse order, what you have to do is reverse true. You can see it has been sorted, but it in reverse order, right? Any questions? Printing it in reverse order, sorting by nature, it is ascending order. And if you want to get in descending order, you have to explicitly mention the parameter reverse, and for that, the value should be true. Okay. Any questions?
I have a question on reverse. Can we use like reverse and slicing?
Reverse and slicing here is going to be like this.
Like for example, the example above that, 876543211.
Okay. Let's take an example. Okay, let me write it here. Okay, I have list. Go ahead.
Yeah. So
yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, so now you want to, let's say, print 1, 2, 3 and sort of like 3, 2, 1.
Okay.
So yeah, so for example, like 876543211. So 3 is in like -1, -2, -3, -4th position. -4th position is 3. -3rd position is 2. -1 position is, I'm sorry, -2 position is 1. -3 position is 2, and -4 position is 3. So I want to get 3 to 1, and then yeah, those 3 values.
After sorting it, like once it's been sorted.
Yeah, in this case, I guess we can sort it, but let's say I'm not doing the sorting. I just want to go by positioning, like the index.
Yeah, got it. Like it has to sort in ascending order, and you want to fetch the first 3 elements, which are nothing but 1, 2, 3, if at all it is in ascending order. Right?
Yeah, I guess we can do that, but I want to see it in like a different way. I want to see it like so for slicing, you previously mentioned a method, right? I forgot the name of it. When you were doing slicing.
Okay, let me give present tracks and show me. Like you have Jupyter Notebook, so I'm not getting the complete picture of what you are saying. Maybe if you can take Jupyter Notebook and I can get a better view.
Yeah, I want to get that, but I want to use reverse and slicing instead of sorting.
Reverse and slicing without
sorting. I don't want to sort because I can have like characters also, right? So
it's going to be like this, and you need slicing like this.
Right.
Right?
Yes. Yes.
This may not work. Let me think about any alternative. Okay, basically what you're trying to do is, if it is an unsorted manner, or like you need it in in some order, like reverse or whatever the method you want to apply, and you want to fetch only a certain set of values.
Correct. Exactly.
what we can do.
So
Let's
reverse, let me try to understand. So reverse is always like, is it more of an order thing, like ascending or descending? Or reverse is just, doesn't
reverse
matter if it's numbers or characters, it just reverses the whole list.
is going to reverse the whole. It's not going to sort it out. Whereas sort
Okay.
is specifically for sorting, but it has a parameter in it that we can either print into ascending or descending order.
Okay, got it. Okay.
Yeah. Reverse in sort is a bit different from the actual reverse. Reverse is going to simply reverse the values, whereas reverse in sort is to print it in ascending or descending order. That's the purpose of it.
Got it. Okay.
I think that was the question. Like,
Yeah, my question is like, reverse. You got. I think you got that. So I want to like reverse it and then take only certain values within that list.
Slicing on this, it doesn't work
Yeah, and then
because
slice.
output is not
Yeah, reverse and slice. Something like
maybe
that.
this right on this no what we got is a list, right? So this is a list and this is my list, and what we can do,
Can't we use a variable to store the, reverse order, and we can pull out the required indexes?
no, we
So
can
can we use before before
in
the
that
reverse after my list? Can you use the slicing operator here? Yeah.
no, here
Yeah,
if you
maybe
use
that.
slicing, it's not going to get the right result. So what he needs is it need to be reversed or it's need to be sorted, and you need only a particular set of values.
That's why, sir. So first we can
Slicing
make it to
doesn't make any
slice,
sense.
then we can reverse it.
No, it is not going to make any sense. That's what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
This point is different. Like, let's take you 1, 2, some 5, 3, 2. When we slice it, we are going to get only, let's take 3 elements. It's going to get only this one.
Yeah.
Then applying reverse doesn't make any sense. But what he need is like 1, 2, 3. Okay. Maybe let me think about it and get back to you. Right now, I don't see any way to get it, but there should be a way. Maybe I'll get back to you tomorrow.
Okay.
I'll post it in Slack. The next one is list in reverse order, print every nth element of a list. That is one good, I think, like my list. What is list? Okay, let me sort it. Yeah, we have this one. And if you want to print only like 1, 3, 5, like every alternate number, what we can do is my list colon from -1, what do we get in reverse order, right?
Yes.
You have to, you have to use 2. By default it is 1, so it's going to print every element. If you mention 2, see what happens. You got every alternate number 1, 3, 5, 7, 11. If you mention 3, it is going to skip 2 values. 1, here we have mentioned 3, right? So it's going to print 2 values, and it's going to print the third element, and it's going to skip the next 2 values, and it's going to print third element, and it's going to skip the next 2 values, but we don't have any other number after 11, so it's going to print only 1, 4, 7. Right? Any questions? Initially, especially when you are new to Python, it's going to be a bit confusing, like especially slicing and this sort of methods. But if you practice it, you will get it. Right? Dattatreya and Karthik, any questions or
No,
any
nothing.
confusion? Yeah.
No.
Yeah. And then we have print every nth element of list in, okay, that we can do. Add new value to the end of the list. Okay. In order to add a value to the end of the list, right now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 8, right? So in order to add another element, like let's take 12, we can use append and the element. Here you can see 12. Now the question comes like, how can I insert a specific value in between? So append only adds at the end, right? So if you want to add like 9 after 8, what we can do is you can use insert. You have to find the index of this. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 8. So it's going to be 8 elements. So 7, 8. So 8, 9. So now this is the index and this is the element that you want to add. Let's see the result. What happened? After 8, we got 9. Append is not going to work this way. So you can't add in between. You can only add at the end. I think those who are from other languages, you may heard like push method, right? Push method will add element at the end. So it's similar to that. We don't have push in Python, we have append. So in order to add a value in between, like at a particular index, you can use insert. Any questions?
So one question.
Yeah, go ahead.
So at line number 67.
67 already. Sorry, I deleted it. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. Before that, actually, can you go for line number 66 also? So this was the list.
We don't have 66, I believe. So I think it's been
Okay.
overrated.
Yeah. Okay. With 67, we can use it actually. Actually, the list has 1, 2, 3. My list has 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on. So here we're extracting only 147, right? So
Yeah.
I was missing 2, 3, and 5, 6. So is there any way to extract 2, 3, 5, 6?
2,
Only
3,
2,
5, 2.
5. So whatever the elements we lost,
This is what you are expecting.
but at the end you have 12. That is not more.
What do you want? So if you want to start from 2, you need to mention the index here. And then what do you need? So every alternate of what?
Actually, my question was initially I have only 147, right? So
Okay.
is there a way to extract the missing elements?
Okay, fine. So you mean to see, okay. Let me show you that. So you have something like my list, and if you print like 3, you're going to get 1, 4, 7, 11. And if
Yeah.
you start from 2, that is starting with index 1, you're going to get alternate values, right? The only thing is it has printed this one. Okay, let me execute this. Okay, you got alternate values. The only thing is you need to change the starting index. By default, this is 0, right?
Okay.
I think that answers your question. No, everyone understood his question. Like his question is, we are printing every alternate of some numbers, right? So here it's going to skip the 2 element. Let's take 1. If we print 1, it's going to skip the next 2 values and it's going to print the third element. What if we want only this part, like 2 or something like 5 and all? The only thing
No,
is you
sir.
need to change the start index.
No, sir. Actually, I was missing 3 here. Actually, if you see here, I just have 1, 4, 11, 1, 4, 7
Okay,
here.
so
What about I want to extract 2, 3, 5, 6 also? The missing elements. Yeah.
all right. So in that case, what we can do is, okay, I got your question. You mean to say that except 1, 4, 7, 11, you need the remaining values in the
Yes.
main
Yes.
list.
Yes.
All right.
Yes. Yes.
In that case, what we can do is we can do like this. Intersect, or what is that? Intersect. What if unit, not intersect? Let's try intersect. It's going to work. No, I think this should work. Why it's not working? List and list, unsupported operator, list and list. There should be a method minus or something. Let's check. My list, extend, index, insert, pop, remove, reverse. Let's check remove. No, it's going to affect this, right? Let's try this. Now there should be some method like union or intersect that helps you to get only the part that you want. I'm not getting the right method. Accept something. Okay, accept or accept. Let me try it. Python list accept set of values. Index all except one item or something. Is there any way? Which is without the element index x. If you're using numpy, no, this is not the way. Except list of elements. How to remove element from a list by value. How to remove multiple elements from a list. Remove multiple elements. Let's try this. No, without this, okay, we need to use list comprehension. Again, it will. But there should be a method like intersect or something. Intersect or accept, something like that. Okay, let's try intersection. Intersect basically gives the common result. If intersection works, I believe this one also works. No. List accept a list. From a list within one list from another list. Remove, clear, pop, remove, del, remove. Let's try this. Without list comprehension, is there any way? We need to use lambda functions. Set A minus set B, and can I do this? Let's try this. What is the result we get? There's a list, right? So my list should work. Why am I'm not getting it? Let's take my list, store it in my list one. My list minus my list one. And this is not working. We don't have any list and list. Okay, I'll get back to you on this. I think there should be a way, some method like intersect or accept or something like that, that helps you to do that job. There should be a method. Yeah, if we have a method, it should show it here. Okay, let's try remove my list one. No. In that case, we need to write a for loop. For x in my list one, my list dot remove x, and then my list. You got the result, right? Dattatreya. We can write like this, or else we can use list comprehension, but there is no direct method that helps
Actually,
to
here,
get.
sir, 9 and 12 are not part of our list, but why it is showing?
What is
Is
that
it
like? 9 and
yeah, my list don't have 9 and
no,
12.
we have added, right? We have added. This is the list. It is going to
Oh, okay,
have.
okay, fine, fine. Yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
Everyone got his
You
question. His question is like how to remove a set of elements, okay. Set of, I mean, a list from another list. It's going to be, I have, what I did here is I store it in a list, store it in a variable, I looped it and removed. Okay. But this is a lengthy method. There should be another way, a much simple way. We will discuss that later. I'll take that and I will let me do some R&D and get back to you. There should be a way, a much simple way than this, instead
okay,
of
sir? Okay.
doing all this stuff.
Yep.
Yeah. And remove element, we already saw that, and using remove. So what we do is list remove. You need to provide the element. Let's take 12 you want to remove. You have to mention 12. But there is another method, pop. Pop will remove the last element. Doesn't matter what. Okay. You can see that 9 has been removed. If I execute it again, pop, so what do we get? 8 has been removed, and you can see that it has returned the element that it has removed. Okay, so it's up to you to use remove or pop based on the requirement. So if you want to remove a specific element, you can use remove. If you want to remove the last element, instead of using remove and providing the element, you can use pop. Okay, and let me tell you, you don't have any push, you have to use append. Any questions? Remove element, we have seen remove non-existing element. Yeah, remove non-existing element, we may get error with, no, for example, my list, we have 1 2 3 5 6, right? My list, remove let's take 7, something that it doesn't exist, you'll get an error. So you need to make sure when you write a code that remove may throw error if it doesn't have the element. Okay, this should be yeah. Remove non-existing means remove element using pop. We did it. Sort the list, we have used I already explained sort and list in reverse order. We already saw this reverse and min max and some methods. We have list here, right? So we have, what is the minimum value?
2.
2,
2.
and you can use min to get min. For max, you can use max. What is the other thing? Like sum. You can use sum to get the summation of all the values. Right? What is my list? 2 plus 3, 5, 5 plus 5, 10, 10 plus 6, 16. That is what we got here. Okay. Any questions? I think it's better to stop here. Okay, let me explain string. Okay, if you have any questions, let me know. I will discuss about a few other things which are much simple. Any questions till now?
No, nothing.
Yeah. And the string list, there is no such thing as string list. So the only thing is, okay, it's our perception. Like if we have only strings in it, we call it as string list. But theoretically, there is no such thing as string list. If it has only strings, we usually call it as string list. Another thing is we have something called mixed list also, Boolean list. Boolean list is when we have only Boolean values. But there is no such thing as Boolean list or string list. List can contain any kind of data type. I mean, it can be of any data type. So it not be just integers. I can have something like 1, 1.5, which is a float, or a letter, or a string, or a complex number like this, 2 plus 3j, or it could be another list also. So tell me, how can I get the element 4 from this? I need to get this element 4. How can I get it?
List of -1 colon.
Okay, -1. Perfect, because this is
colon,
the last one, right? Okay, and then
yes, colon. Then, no. That is -1 only. After that, there are one more bracket, square
okay.
bracket. You can use which number? 4th number.
4, right? Yeah, perfect. This is the way to fetch a space. I mean, if we have nested list, we call it as nested list. It could be of any type, as I said before. It can be integer, a float, a string. It can be a complex number. It can be another list, or tuple, or set, or dictionary, right? So it could be. It can
I
be of
have a question on this, sir.
yeah.
Like, what is the logic of using this, like -1 and 3? Like, so -1, I understand that you're taking the last element, and then so the moment you put -1, it automatically stores it into a list, and
It's not going
then
to.
you're just,
No, it's not going to store in the list. This itself a
I mean,
list. It's going to
right.
simply throw that.
So
Yeah.
yeah, so it's just getting the last value, or basically getting a list within a list, like within the nested. It's a nested list, right? So then you started off with a bracket, right?
Yeah.
Again, to get it. So what is that log? Like, what exactly is it doing there?
Okay.
Like, I understand that
So
it's getting a
yeah,
value, but
yeah,
can
got it.
you?
Yeah, sure. So this is a list, right? So this the very element itself a list, right? Here we
Right.
got it like minus. If you mention -1, we got a list, right? So if
Right.
this is a list, right? Let's take like this. If it is a list, if you mention index, let's take 3, we get an element, right?
I see.
This is what
Okay.
happened. So this is going to throw this. If you mention like this, if we can able to fetch a particular element using this method, obviously we can mention right here itself.
Okay, got it. Okay.
Now let's take another list. Okay, 2.5, 3.5. Now if I want to fetch 3.5, what we can do? How can I fetch the value? Like minus list, as usual, -1. This is the last element, and then I need 3.5, just 3.5, nothing else. -1 is going to fetch the last list, and then any guesses? Even if it's wrong, it's fine.
Again, -3, I guess.
-3, all right. Is it okay? -3. Okay, and then I need only 3.5.
And then
Maybe I had wrongly mentioned. Yeah, so let's take 3.5, right? Okay.
yeah. So you can use 1 or -1.
Another square bracket and then 1, right? So when we have nested list, obviously we have to use this sort of this is the method that we have to follow. Okay. Of course, there is a better way. We can use loops to get the value, the required value. But in this case, it's better. We are at the basic level, so it's better to stick to this method. Okay. Any questions? In fact, there is a better, let me tell you, there is a better way to do this. If you want to fetch only a specific number, I mean a value, we can use better function. We can write a better function that searches and finds the value and gets it. But we're still in the slicing, but very basic level of Python list slicing, right? Let's stick to this method.
So one question here.
Yeah, go ahead.
List always, shall we enter the operation plus minus these kind of symbols and expressions inside the list?
I didn't get your question. So what do you mean by plus minus?
So shall I enter here? You mentioned complex number 2 plus 3j. Likewise, shall I enter 2 plus 5 or anything, any kind of expression which gives a unique Q value?
You mean to
Then how
say
it works?
like this 2 plus 3
Yeah,
and it's
yeah,
going to
yep,
yeah
yeah.
yes you can do that. You can write expression. You got 5, right?
Oh, okay,
You can
okay,
write an expression also. Yeah.
okay.
And any questions before we join the list? Let's take, I have no 1 2 and 3. So earlier we have used something like, if we have something like this, we have seen how to split it, right? What we did, x dot split, and the separator is comma. We got it, right? So if you want to get, if you have a list like this and if you want to get a result like this, what we can do is you can use join. The join is nothing but a reverse to opposite to split method. You need to mention separator first. So what do you want? Like you want separate with comma or any other like space or underscore, whatever. You need to mention the separator and then join. In join, you need to mention the list, my list. What we got? You can see that we got the required result, right? Join is nothing but an opposite to the split method. Split method splits the values and gives it in the form, gives in the form of a list of elements. Whereas join is going to join the elements in the list and throw it as one value. If you want to mention like comma space, you can mention it. Like you can see comma space. This is going to be a very handy method, especially in NLP problems where there is a possibility that you need to join the elements of a list. Okay. Any questions
So
on split and
can
join?
you check the type of this one? Type
Sorry,
of this one. Type after
type of
join.
this. Yeah,
Yeah.
this is going to be string. String.
Oh,
str.
okay, okay. So if you want to convert to list, then I can simply apply a list, right? List and
Converting this to a list doesn't make any sense. Of course, you can convert it, but doesn't make any sense. You want something like this, right?
yeah.
But it doesn't make any sense, right? So you can see that.
Mm-hmm.
In this case, it doesn't make any sense. Every letter being, like, in this case, it doesn't make any sense, I believe. If you basically we use join to store it in a variable. Again, converting back to list doesn't make any sense, and that too is going to have only one. All right. Fine. The next one is it good to stop here or shall we proceed? Or can we complete till here? You're almost done.
Are you going to take a different topic, or are you?
No, it's going to be the same list. And tomorrow we are going to discuss study and the different the remaining data structures.
So we can continue, sir, if others are okay.
Yeah, tomorrow we will most probably we will complete the Python part. Right? Okay, let's stop here, and tomorrow we'll continue the remaining part of list. Very few we have been remained, and we will discuss about the remaining data structures like dictionary, tuples, sets, and programming structures like programming concepts like for, if, while, range, right? And a few other things. Lambda functions use different functions. Most probably tomorrow or maybe day after tomorrow we'll complete Python. Yeah, as I said yesterday, like basics are a bit boring and it's a bit exhaustive, but once you start doing projects, it's going to be very interesting. Okay.
Can I make a
to-
suggestion, like, because it's
go
going to
ahead.
take another 2 to 3 days? Can
Yeah.
we like split the session, like maybe half of the session we can probably, talk about Python, and then maybe half or maybe at least 25% of the session can we talk on the machine learning fundamentals?
We need to have basics, right? We need to have basic knowledge before we get into projects. That is what.
Okay.
We need to. It's not just Python. You need to be good at NumPy, Pandas, Matplotlib, and SQL. When I write some code using, with these libraries, obviously there will be some confusion, right? So when I show you some projects, I have to use scikit-learn, I have to use Pandas, I have to use NumPy. Again, question rises: what is NumPy and Pandas, scikit-learn, and all, right? So it's better to go through this process, like basics, first 3 weeks, and then from 4th week onwards you can enjoy, like you can see the machine learning.
Okay. So you're going to jump into projects directly? Like, are we going to have like some theory sessions, or are we going to start directly with the project?
Yeah, we're going to start with basic projects and advanced projects and then internals.
Okay.
I'm going to give a glance of what is machine learning before we get into basic projects, but in depth, we're going to get into that after we complete advanced projects. Most probably it's going to be in the 6th week or 5th week.
Okay.
Another thing, like I'm going, in detail, like usually the basics of Python, like if when I say Python basics, or if you watch any video on Python basics, it's not going to be in depth. So we need these sort of details, or this sort of explanation, or this sort of exercises, especially like for data analysis and machine learning. It's going to be helpful in longer run. So bear with me for 3 weeks, and then you will understand why I'm going in detail.
Okay, definitely.
Yeah, Karthik and Dattatreya, any questions or feedback?
So fine, sir. It's quite fine for me.
Yeah, fine for me too.
I can understand why you suggested the 75% basics and the 25% projects. It's also going to be interesting, and definitely basics are going to be boring and dry. But it is better to go this way. First 3 weeks, let's stick to this.
Sure.
Yeah. Yeah. Any other questions? I think a few questions I need to answer, right? What is one by Aravind and another one by Dattatreya. So removing a list from another list, right? List of elements from another list. This is by Dattatreya. We have a method, but we need a better way, right? Another thing, another question being asked by Aravind. What is that? What was that?
Reverse and split.
Reverse and
split.
So you need, I forgot that. You need both these methods to be applied at the, okay. You're expecting something like, no, in one line, right? We need to
Correct,
do
exactly,
split and most probably it's going to be lambda, using lambda functions. Maybe tomorrow or day after tomorrow we'll discuss about that. Okay.
Okay, sure.
Any feedback or questions? Any feedback is absolutely fine. No, he suggested like 25% progress and 75%. Absolutely fine. So don't hesitate to give feedback or ask questions. Even if it's silly, it's fine. Okay. It's not like I'm a lecturer and giving lecture to others. It's just sharing to others, right? My experience and things that I have learned from past 4 years. It's all about that. Yeah. If you don't have any questions or feedback, you can log off. And session recording will be shared by Venkat sir. You can ask him in WhatsApp group. Maybe he need to do some editing and there will be some delay getting. And those who didn't watch the previous 2 videos, please do watch. I mean, you have completed watching 2 videos, right?
I have not. No.
Okay.
I'll have to do that.
Watch it and any feedback, questions, let me know.
Definitely.
Yeah. Anything else before we end up? Let me stop the recording.